Hi, YouTube. I wanted to take you guys through a little bit of a boxing workout. And that's from some of the comments about me looking like there's a popular anime. A lot of people on TikTok commented from it, but here on YouTube too. And I thought it was funny because, like, I rewatched some of the movies and anime based on y'all's comments from TikTok and YouTube. And I thought it was funny. One of them was Megaloboxing, but another one is Real Steel. And I just wanted to take you through. I do train. I don't just train shooting. And I like that on YouTube I can talk about training shooting specifically because, like, on other formats, I'll get, like, low-key threatened. People will be like, oh, you boxed, but I would just shoot you. And I can't, like, show them, obviously, on other, like, specifically TikTok, you can't show people that you're, like, trained shooting on there. But on YouTube, you're like, listen, like, just because I have a metal arm doesn't mean, I don't train weapons and stuff like that. But I do train specifically boxing and MMA. I would consider it MMA, right? Under my gloves here, you see that I had that rubber hand on, and that's the Dragon TD. I do train with my metal hand because people would be like, can you punch with the metal hand? I have, but if you guys have followed me for a little bit now, you've seen that I did actually break this arm one time, specifically boxing training. So if you see me doing a lot of drill work here, not only is it just because it's a workout, but I don't have a gym. I don't have a fighting gym. I have messed with a couple of trainers and a little bit of boxing training, and I feel like MMA has been a little bit friendlier to me. But so when I punch the tree, even with the metal hand, even with the rubber hand, that shock absorption is essentially all on the elbow. And I have broken this arm one time before, and it was boxing. And I was straight just hitting the tree with the metal arm. And because the arm, even though it looks like it's a shock, it did initially come from a shock. It's not a shock. There's no shock absorption, so it just hurts my arm and the elbow. So I did break it one time boxing. But I wanted to show y'all my movement here because I think that it's to a lot of people very unique and, like, new to see people doing MMA training with the prosthetic. And I know that there's arm amputees that do compete in MMA without a prosthetic. And I want to say that I've actually tried to do a local adaptive competition with a boxing amputee little nonprofit here in Texas, in Austin. And they actually didn't let me compete. So, before I get the questions about if I actually ever tried to compete before with the prosthetic, I tried, and they didn't let me compete because I was competing with my metal arm. And even though I would have been wearing gloves, and it would have been just, like, obviously just to showcase what I've overcome and to demonstrate that you can still do things that you like as an amputee, specifically with this Havoc arm. You know what I mean? I'm really proud of how durable it is to be able to train shooting guns and MMA and boxing. You know what I mean? Because, like, when I'm just hitting a heavy bag at a gym, like, I could hit the heavy bag forever and never break the arm. The only time I ever broke this arm was because I was punching a tree, and it was really just because I was going through some stuff. I just had a friend pass away, and I was just training to get rid of like the demons of being sad about losing my friend. And I literally just hit this tree and I broke my arm right before I went to the Ukraine. I think I referenced that before. And then the maker of this arm, George Schroeder, he came in clutch, and right before I went to the Ukraine, actually machined a whole new part specifically for me to take to the Ukraine to show these guys. And I don't think I would break it the same way as far as boxing anything goes again, but just because I don't want to take for granted having this prosthetic, I don't hit the tree with the metal arm. I use the rubber hand. But I just wanted to go through some of the drills that I do here and talk about how high my amputation is. It does look a little bit awkward because my timing and speed is based off of how short my arm is relative to my non-amputated side, right? So I have to adjust so much of my movement, not just the science of where my arm is in space inside the socket, but how much how much harder it is to not only punch at a target with my arm being so much shorter. So you see my movement looks a little bit awkward, but I'm also I'm having to factor in that when I move my arm inside the socket, it's kind of hard for me to punch slow. So it's, unless I slowed the video down, it would be very hard for me to demonstrate, what I'm doing, because just to be able to get a punch up to, head height, I have to use the momentum and just swing my whole body forward. So I actually get like a little bit of a prettier form for a punch on my right side every time, because I have to have good form every single time. But that also makes it harder for me to demonstrate in slow motion what I'm having to do to punch. But I wanted to show you guys all the movements that I can do with this arm, just like, boxing, just drills with the full arm prosthetic, metal prosthetic, and it does stand up to the training. And just because thus far on YouTube, I've only done like shorts of me boxing training, but I wanted to take you through some more of the drills, and just to demonstrate that I don't just shoot training guns and stuff like that, even though I really enjoy shooting training guns. And specifically with this arm, I'm allowed to, or not that I'm allowed to, I can train this arm, pretty hard versus the bionics without having to worry about breaking them. And this is just a little video of me shooting guns with my other bionic arm, because people asked about if I did train bionics, and I was like, I do, but unlike the metal arm, it doesn't stand up to shooting training very, very well. So, I do them more sparingly. And this is just me doing drills with the Knick Menta SFT. And some of y'all asked about that, if I had trained with the bionic, because, I train way more with the metal arm. But that's just because the metal arm is like, way more durable. So I can actually go through drills and not worry about breaking little things just by, like catching the gun wrong. And some people commented about maybe doing a setup specifically for shooting. And I was like, I have, but because I wear this arm so much and I carry my gun, wherever I can legally, I didn't want to adapt something specifically to shooting that would hinder my movement on my prosthetic for everything else. And so this was just me showing y'all, because y'all asked about it, shooting with my bionic arm. And it's just something I don't do as much, because as you can see, I boxed with the other arm because it stands up to training, shooting, boxing, whatever, way more than the bionic ones do. And just appreciate the support. Wanted to make a little video. Thank you so much. Like and subscribe. Appreciate it, YouTube.